Hello and welcome to another episode of the Bubbs on Sports podcast. Today is Friday, November 25th. Hope everybody's having a day so far, and hopefully everybody had a good day yesterday and enjoyed their Thanksgiving with family and friends. It is, in fact, the day after. A lot of great things going on yesterday in the world of sports and just getting started as we have a big weekend ahead of us in college football and in the NFL. And obviously you have basketball, college basketball, and the NHL sprinkled in as well. For the soccer fans out there, you got the World Cup. So lots going on here as we start to wrap up November and get into December, which should be an exciting month, especially for the NFL and especially for New York football fans. And as I mentioned, hope everybody enjoyed their Thanksgiving. Hope everybody ate a lot. I know I did. It was a great day yesterday, and now we are back to just, I guess, now we're back to just, wrapping up November. And then as we creep closer and closer and closer to December and then the new year and so on and so forth. So it is, in fact, kicked off the holiday season. And a lot of great sports on yesterday. You obviously had the 3 NFL games on, which were all very, very good games, actually. The Bills-Lions game was great. The Cowboys-Giants game was good for the first half. And then, in the second half, Cowboys started to break away. The injuries for the Giants started to show. More talent on the Cowboys. And the Vikings-Patriots game was phenomenal. So 3 really good games other than the second half of the Cowboys-Giants game. Obviously, Cowboys really kind of took over, and it really wasn't, it was kind of a blowout in the second half in terms of just talent just straight up taking over for the Cowboys. But other than that, all 3 games were very good. It was a successful day for me as I went 3-0 on my game picks. So I'll get into all that. It is a Football Friday podcast. I apologize. I'm doing this later in the day. I'll get it up, though, soon after I upload this, so all of you can watch it if you're interested. But our first topic of the day, you know the drill. It's a Football Friday. We're going to get into yesterday's game, talk about them a little bit, not a ton, before we get into the rest of the NFL. Try to be quick. Try to keep this around 25 to 30 minutes. Then we'll get to the fantasy football advice and recap of yesterday and what you should do with your lineups going into Sunday. As we creep closer and closer to the end of the regular season, we keep as we creep closer and closer to the NFL playoffs, we get closer and closer to fantasy football playoffs as we got about 2-3 weeks left in each of our fantasy football leagues. So a lot coming up down the stretch here as final playoff spots will be handed out over the course of the next couple weeks. And then obviously we'll finish things off with the New York Sports Update. Nets will be back in action tonight. They will be playing up against the Pacers in Indiana, and the Rangers will have a day off today. They will be back in action tomorrow as they'll hoist the Oilers for a 1 o'clock matinee at Madison Square Garden, and the Islanders are on tonight. They will be back tonight against the Blue Jackets, and they'll be on the road in Columbus. And as for the New York Knicks, they are at home tonight against the Portland Trailblazers at MSG as the Nets hit the road, and they're in Indiana. All right, so a lot to get to on this Football Friday podcast. With all that being said, this is the Bubbs on Sports podcast, and let's get right into it. So yesterday, as I mentioned, was a very successful day. Ate a lot of food and went 3-0 on my NFL game picks for the day. I had Bills over the Lions. I had Cowboys over the Giants, and I had Vikings over the Patriots. I was very happy that the Patriots lost. That was kind of the icing on the cake. The cherry on top of a very exciting Thanksgiving was the Vikings beating the hated New England Patriots, as we all know. Lions beating the Bills would have helped the Jets out a lot, but it was still a competitive game. It was a tough one for the Lions to win. They're playing competitive. Bills barely won the game, but that was a good game to watch, and then obviously Giants, Cowboys as well. So I went 3-0 yesterday, so I got off to a very good start this week. The past 2 weeks, I have been 14-14 combined. I went 7-7 in week 10, and I went 7-7 last week. So the past 2 weeks have been very average. Hoping this week to get back to double-digit correct picks, which was the last time I did that was back in week 8, which was a part of a stretch of 4 out of the 5 weeks, ranging from week 4 to week 8, where I had at least 10 picks correct. So that was a good stretch, hoping to get back on that stretch this week. But starting out 3-0 is a good start. And with that 3-0 record yesterday, my game picks now overall in the year are 167. So I cracked 100, and now we shall see how the rest of the season plays out with my game picks. I am now 30, 3 games above 500 with my game picks as I cracked 100 with 3-0, going 3-0 yesterday, taking the Vikings, Cowboys, and Bills, and they were all winners. All right, so now let's get into this weekend's game picks. As I mentioned, I'll try to go a little quicker here. Going to try to keep this video around 30, 35 minutes, anywhere around that range. So we're opening things up with the Bengals and the Titans. Bengals come into this game 6-4. Titans come into this game 7-3. Bengals are 2.5-point favorites. The Titans are obviously the home dogs here. The over-under set at 43 for this game. This game comes on at 1 Eastern on CBS. This one I had a real tough time bouncing back and forth on who to pick. I want to see Tennessee win just because of the fact that, obviously if the Bengals lose, it helps the Jets' chances out a lot. Tennessee's already leading in the AFC South. If they win that division, they're obviously going to get, a playoff spot via, the division win. So I'm rooting for Tennessee because obviously it helps the Jets, but in reality, I think the Bengals are going to win this game. There's a possibility they get Jamar Chase back for this week. They're getting healthier. They're a good team. And again, when you really look at it, the Titans defense has been good this year, but is it enough to take down this Bengals offense that could be getting their top playmaker back? I like Cincinnati on the road. Give me the Bengals. 24-17. Bengals get the win. Late touchdown wins it for the Bengals. I'll take the under on the over-under of 43, and I got the Bengals covering the 2.5. Next up, we got the Broncos and the Panthers. Broncos are 3-7. Panthers 3-8. Broncos a small 1-point favorite. The over-under set at 36, 1 Eastern on Fox. Call me crazy. Say whatever you want. I'm going to take Carolina. Sam Darnold, it looks like, will be starting this game. I mean, the Broncos are a mess. They are a complete joke. I'm probably going against the grain here, but Carolina's been competitive. They've won a couple, they beat Tampa Bay. They obviously beat Atlanta. They were close to beating, I forget who they almost beat. They almost beat Atlanta prior to that, the one game when Eddie Pinheiro missed the kick. DJ Moore taking off his helmet. They've been competitive under Steve Wilkes since he took over for Matt Rule, who got fired, and now it looks like Matt Rule will be in a position to get the Nebraska job after Scott Frost got fired earlier this year. So a lot of coaching, things going on here. How much longer has Nathaniel Hackett got a job? If the Broncos lose this game, you can't tell me Nathaniel Hackett's got a job by Monday. I really wouldn't be surprised. He's hanging on by a thread. Russell Wilson's not playing well. I'm going to take Carolina at home. They're younger. They're going to come out a little more energized. They seem to be playing a little harder. I like Carolina. Call me crazy. Broncos stink. Carolina's not very good either. But I'm going to take the Panthers. They're at home, and they seem to have a little bit more fire under them than the Broncos do. Give me the Panthers strictly because of that young little energy that they seem to be playing with. Nothing else, just that little young energy. Give me the Panthers. Low scoring 2017 Panthers win. Over on the over-under 36. Panthers get the win. Panthers +1 get the win over Denver at home. Game number 3, we got the Browns and the Buccaneers. Buccaneers 5-5, Browns 3-7. 3.5-point favorite. Road favorites are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Browns are obviously the home dogs. The over-under set at 42, 1 Eastern on Fox. Tampa's rolling. Browns can't get much going offensively outside of Nick Chubb. They started out last week promising against Buffalo, lost the lead late. Buffalo dominated the second half. Browns are nothing without a legit quarterback. They don't have many, they got weapons. They just don't have the quarterback. The Buccaneers are playing better. Brady seems to be getting a little bit more time in the pocket. They seem to be connecting a little bit more with, him and the receivers. I like Tampa here on the road. Just the better team. That's the bottom line. Give me Tampa on the road to extend their win streak. I'll take Tampa 27-17. Tampa gets the win. I'll take the over on the over-under 42. Tampa gets the win and covers at 3.5. Next up, we got the Commanders and the Falcons. Commanders come into this game red hot, 6-5. Falcons come into this game 5-6, 4-point favorites. At home are the Washington Commanders, over-under set at 40.5. I'm going to take the Commanders here at home. They are rolling. Wins against Philly. They're playing great. Taylor Heineke dominating. They're doing everything right now. Came off of a big win last week against Houston, which was an interesting test because Houston was a trap game for them after they beat Philly. So it was an interesting test. I'm going to take Washington at home over Atlanta. They're red hot. Give me Washington. 24-13. Washington with the win. Defense plays well. Washington covers the 4, and I'll take the over on the over under 40. Over on the over under 40.5. Give me the Washington Commanders. Next up, we got the Jaguars and the Ravens. Ravens 7-3, Jaguars 3-7. Ravens 3.5-point favorites. The over/under set at 43.5. I'm going to take Baltimore here. Ravens are struggling. Or the Jaguars rather are struggling. Again, the Ravens are the better team. Give me Baltimore 31-17. Baltimore gets the win. I'll take the over on the over/under 43.5, and I think the Ravens cover the 3.5. Next up, we got the Dolphins and the Texans. Texans 1-8-1. Dolphins 7-3. Dolphins big 2-touchdown favorites. They are 14-point favorites in this game. The over/under set at 41, 1 Eastern on CBS. Give me the Dolphins and give me them by a whole country mile. Dolphins. Davis Mills bench. Kyle Allen in. Doesn't matter. Dolphins. Tyreek Hill. Tua. Get the big win at home, 31-10. I'll take the under and the over/under 47. And yes, I'm taking the Dolphins to cover that big 2-touchdown favorite. All right, next up, 4 o'clock games now. We got 4 of these, so looking forward to that. We got Cardinals, Chargers 5-5, Cardinals 4-7. This is about, you can make the argument this is a must-win for both teams, but especially the Cardinals if they want to keep any slim hopes alive. Chargers 2.5-point favorites coming off of a really tough loss. Travis Kelce touchdown late last Sunday night against the Chiefs, looking to bounce back, and the Cardinals are the home underdogs. The over/under set at 48.5, 4:05 Eastern on CBS. It's going to be interesting to see how both teams respond. You have a Cardinals team that's just getting fresh off of being blown out, and you have a Chargers team that lost on heartbreak. So do the Chargers carry that over with them, or do they get frustrated and bounce back strong? Or do the Cardinals carry over that tough loss with them, or do they come out frustrated and bounce back strong? It'll be interesting to see how both teams respond. Cardinals have been a mess this year. They've been an absolute joke with the injuries at quarterback. They've been bad. I mean, they've been a joke. They're 4-7. They're not playing well. They don't play well at home. I like the Chargers. The Chargers, they've been injured, but the Chargers are just waiting for an opportunity, I feel like, to try and just get on a run here. After this, they got the Raiders, they got the Dolphins, they got the Titans, they got the Colts, Rams, and Broncos to finish out their schedule. This is a big opportunity for them. You can win this game. You could beat Vegas. You get the 7-5. You go into that Miami game, which is big. Titans big. Then you have the Colts, Rams, Broncos, which are 3 beatable teams. This is a big game if you want to try and get to the 10-11 win mark this year, which I still think is in reach for this Chargers team. Give me the Chargers. Give me Justin Herbert. Getting healthier, I'll take the Chargers on the road, bouncing back after a tough loss on Sunday night against the Chiefs. Chargers win 31-21. They cover the 2.5. I'll take the over on the over-under 40.5. Give me the Chargers. Next up, we got the Seahawks and the Raiders. Seahawks 6-4, Raiders 3-7. Seahawks 4-point favorites. The over/under set at 47.5. Seahawks fresh off their bye week after losing in Germany against the Buccaneers. Raiders fresh off an overtime win against division rival the Broncos in overtime. Derek Carr to Devontae Adams, just as everyone scripted. A lot of people thought that would be the case all season long. It's only happened 3 times. 3 wins for the Raiders. I don't foresee the Raiders carrying the momentum into this game. I don't. I know a lot of people out there that say, "Oh, watch out for the Raiders. They won this game. They're at 3 wins now. Watch out for them. They might, not that they're going to make the playoffs, but watch out. They might be getting hot here, get a couple wins in a row." I don't think that's the case. Look, the Seahawks are good. They're coming off a bye week. It's at home. It's a tough place to play. Raiders are too inconsistent this year. Give me the Seahawks. Give me Geno Smith, and his magical season continues. Seahawks 28-24. Seahawks get the win. Just cover the 4 points. It's going to be close, but I'll take the Seahawks 28-24. I'll take the over on the over-under 47.5, but I'll take Seattle covering the 4. All right, final 2 4 o'clock games. You got the Chiefs and the Rams. Chiefs big 15.5-point favorites. They're 8-2. Rams 3-7. Over/under set at 41.5. Give me Kansas City by a mile. Kansas City's going to win this game 31-13. Kansas City with the win. I'll take the over on the over/under 41.5. Kansas City wins and covers the 15.5. Next up, we got the Niners and the Saints. Niners 6-4, Saints 4-7. Niners 9-point favorites. The over/under set at 43.5. This game goes on 4:25 p.m. Eastern on Fox. I'm going to take the Niners. They're rolling. They're playing well. They got weapons all over the place. We saw it on Monday night in Mexico. They're a good team. They're going to be a threat in the NFC. We all understand that. And the Saints continue to struggle offensively. Give me the Niners back at home. I'll take the Niners 31-17. Niners win. I'll take the over on the over-under 43.5, and the Niners win and cover the 9. Next up, we got the Eagles and the Packers. This is the Sunday night game, 8:20 p.m. Eastern on NBC. Eagles 9-1, Packers 4-7. Eagles 6.5-point favorites. Over/under set at 46. Give me the Eagles at home. Loud crowd, Lincoln Financial. Packers, Aaron Rodgers, broken thumb. Ain't going to get it done. Eagles are better. That's just the bottom line. Give me Philly, give me Jalen Hurts and the Eagles to get to 10 wins on the year. I got the Eagles, 27-17, Eagles win. I'll take the under on the over-under of 46, and I'll say the Eagles win and cover the 6.5. All right, so those are my picks. Now we get to the Jets and the Bears. Mike White versus, is it going to be Justin Fields or Trevor Siemian? It's a battle between those two. We're hearing today that Justin Fields is a game-time decision. I think that's a little bit of gamesmanship by Chicago. I think they would imagine that Fields. I don't know. If I'm Chicago, I wouldn't play Justin Fields. They're 3-8. They're playing for nothing. You don't want to further risk an injury. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Jet fan. I think most people can jump on board with me with that. Look, you're 3-8. You're not playing for anything, right? And the last thing you want is to send him out there, have him get hurt even more, and now all of a sudden his season's done, and then, you got to hope, or it turns into something that needs surgery, and then now next year's affected. You just don't want to have that happen, especially with the way he's been playing. So we'll see how they handle it. Jets come into this one 6-4. Bears come into this one 3-8. Jets are 6-point favorites, which I believe this year is the first time the Jets have been favored in a game. So despite them being 6-4, 10 games in, and right in the heart of the playoff race, they have not been favored once this year. I don't believe. Maybe I've been wrong, but I do not believe they've been favorites at all this year. So this is their first game that they're favorites. Not that it matters, but if you want to put some money on the Jets, covering, a point spread, or want to put them, money on the Jets minus something instead of Jets plus something, well, this is your opportunity to do it, which it hasn't come around much this season. And even if we win this week, I don't picture us being a favorite next week or the week after. So the Jets are favorites. They are 6-point favorites. Expecting a low-scoring game here. Over/under set at 39. 1 Eastern on Fox. Obviously, the quarterback is the big storyline in this game. Zach Wilson will be benched. He won't even be benched. He'll be actually inactive. Or I should reset what I said. He's not only going to be benched, but also be inactive. So he won't even be the backup quarterback. So if there's a case where Mike White would to go down, Zach Wilson's not going to be seeing the field on Sunday. It will be Joe Flacco as the backup. Mike White will be starting, and on the roster depth chart, Zach Wilson will be the third string. So that's how the NFL works. 1 week you're the starter, the next week you're the third string. It was needed. We all understand that. I'm going to be interested to see how this Jet team responds. It's been a wild week full of a lot of news. It's kind of funny because usually as a fan base, you usually get in the mindset of after once Monday hits, you kind of recap the game. You talk about it, and then once Tuesday hits, you start talking about your next opponent. This week, we barely talked about the Bears. It feels so weird. It's like all of this news this week, it's like we got a game to play. Like there's a game we're going to watch on Sunday, and Mike White's going to be the quarterback, and you got to adjust your brain to that. So that's why you wonder how it affects the locker room. How is the locker room affected by this? Does this Jet team come out and dominate on Sunday, and do they play hard for Mike White and try to play their hardest for him? So that, he can go out and show out a little bit, right? Do they go that approach, or do they go out and all the news this week, all the, the outside reports and all the media, they're just not able to dial in and focus, and they lay a dud? It could go one of two ways. I believe in this Jet team. I think they have a lot of talent where they're going to go out and they're going to play motivated. I think they're going to play hard for Mike White, especially with the way Zach Wilson's comments set off the locker room. I feel confident in this game. Look, I believe in Mike White. I do. I think that, all we're asking him to do, and there's still football fans out there. There's still Jet fans out there. A select few, but not many, but still a few that are like, Why are we starting Mike White? What is he going to be able to do? Everyone thinks that we need Mike. Everyone's saying like Mike White, stinks and he's not going to be like. All we're asking out of Mike White is to be an average quarterback. That's all we're asking. Play within the offense. Take what the defense is giving you. Spread the ball around. That's all we're asking. Zach Wilson was playing like the worst quarterback in football statistically. The stats show it, and we saw it with our own eyes. So if we get average quarterback play from Mike White, we should be in a good position, and I believe in Mike White. We're wearing the black uniforms. We're at home. Give me the Jets. Give me Mike White and the Magic. I'm not saying he's going to go out there and throw for 400 yards, but I think this team will rally around him. I think that's the approach we'll get. I think that's the outcome we'll get. And again, who's more talented, Jets or the Bears? Jets are more talented by a mile. The Jets have one of the more talented rosters in the league. That's just the bottom line. Call me crazy, but they do. They just do. So, especially defensively, no matter who the quarterback is for Chicago, I believe in this defense. And this offense is the only thing that's got to get going here. And I believe it can. It's against the worst passing defense in football. This Jets defense has a lot of advantage. This Jets team has a lot of advantages in this game. Although the Bears' offense is the strength, Jets have one of the best defenses in football, and the Jets might be getting a spark on offense with their quarterback, and that helps because the defense by the Bears is terrible to begin with. So they have a lot of advantages in this game. They have a lot of things going their way. I'm going to take the Jets and rally around Mike White. Give me the Jets at home, 23-13. I'll take the Jets. I'll take the over on the over-under of 39, or under on the over-under of 39. Give me the Jets, 23-13, 10-point victory. They cover the 6 points, and they get the win at home, and Mike White gets his first win this season as a starter and his second career win as a starting quarterback with the New York Jets. By the way, 74% of people got the Jets winning this game, so I'm in the majority, as I should say. And don't forget, tomorrow is a big, big day in college football. It's rivalry weekend tomorrow. Got a lot of great games on. Looking forward to all of them. Today, you've obviously got a couple really good games on right now. But tomorrow, Florida State, Florida. You got Georgia Tech, Georgia. Actually, Florida State, Florida's today, rather. You got Georgia Tech, Georgia, Louisville and Kentucky, Alabama, Auburn in the Iron Bowl. Oregon and Oregon State, TCU, Iowa State, Penn State, Michigan State, LSU, Texas A&M, UCF, South Florida, Notre Dame, USC. A lot of really good rivalry games this weekend. Washington State. But obviously highlighted is the biggest one of them all. In terms of implications, it's the biggest one of them all. The game, as they like to call it. Michigan and Ohio State this weekend. Michigan, number 3 in the nation, traveling to Ohio, Columbus, Ohio Stadium, 12 Eastern on Fox. Third-ranked Michigan, second-ranked Ohio State, 2-11-0 teams. Ohio State 8-point favorites. The over/under set at 55.5 for this game. They're giving a big amount of points for Ohio State. A lot of people expecting Ohio State to win this game. Massive implications. Here's the bottom line. If Ohio State wins this game, Michigan's most likely done. Now, if Ohio State loses this game, there's still a path for them to make the possibility to make the playoffs because their non-conference schedule is a lot stronger than Michigan's, who had a weak non-conference schedule. Especially with Michigan barely beating Illinois last week, it makes the committee even more say Michigan's got to win this game. If Michigan wins this game, they're most likely in. They play up against a Big Ten West team, which should be a win. If Ohio State wins this game, Michigan's out. They probably win the Big Ten championship. Ohio State's in. Now, if Ohio State loses this game, there's still a chance they make it. It's a less chance, but there's still a chance. It's a better chance. The basic way is the loser of this, if Michigan loses, their season's over. Obviously, they'll still have a bowl game to play, but their hopes of a college football playoff is over. If Ohio State wins this game, their chances are a little higher than Michigan to still make the playoffs as a one-loss team. They're going to need some help, but they're most likely to. If LSU wins out, USC, TCU, teams like that, then things really get interesting, which is where you'd probably boot Ohio State out. Maybe they sneak in as like a 4. The bottom line is this is a huge game. The winner of this game secures their spot in the college football playoff. The loser, well, for Michigan, their season's over, and for Ohio State, it's really, really, really murky waters that they'd be, traveling in where their path isn't completely clear. There's a chance, but it's not a great chance as if they would to just win and get in. So that's the part of it there. So this will be interesting. I think it's gonna be an interesting game. I like Ohio State a lot, obviously led by C.J. Stroud. Michigan's obviously on the road, which is obviously going to make it tough. I think, their win. Everybody think, with them beating Illinois last week, 19-17. A lot of people think, they were just caught looking ahead. We'll see, what their running back, Corum, how healthy is he? Ohio State's obviously going to be at home. They got a lot of weapons. They're a high flying offense. If I had to choose, I'd probably say Ohio State wins this game. I wouldn't be shocked to see Michigan win. Again, they're just home. C.J. Stroud. Michigan's going to have to rely a lot on that run game. Defensively, they're going to have to find a way to contain C.J. Stroud. It's going to be an interesting game because last year they won because Hutchinson and that defensive front was able to get pressure on Stroud. Can they do the same this year? It'll be interesting. So, going to be a fun game. Looking forward to it. All right, and as for fantasy football, got a lot to look forward to this weekend. Looking forward to a big weekend in fantasy football as it is week 12. Obviously yesterday in a lot of leagues, I'm sure a lot of people have played a lot of players already. A couple players that could possibly be in play. Devontae Smith against Green Bay. Cortland Sutton as well. 23rd ranked defense in Carolina. It's interesting. Corey Davis is back this week. So could he be an option at like a flex? I know he's not a big fantasy guy. But a guy like Garrett Wilson this week, I would definitely play him at a flex spot. Love Jets receivers this week against a weak Bears secondary. And I also specifically love because I think you're going to see Mike White spread the ball around. I think you're going to see much more of a rhythm on offense. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot more Jets players in play this week, especially the run game. If it is rainy, which it's expected to be, could they go to the run a lot more? It'll be interesting. So should be a fun weekend of fantasy football. All right, so that will do it for the podcast here today. Another good week in the books. As always, keep your eyes out. We'll have my In the Trench with Gangrene podcast up tomorrow, which will be my preview for Jets-Bears, which will be on Sunday, and then I'll have my recap shortly after the game on Sunday. Go Jets. Let's get the win. Let's get to 7-4 on the year, and hold on to a playoff spot here for another week. With the Patriots losing, we currently hold the seventh and final playoff spot in the AFC. A win this week would further our chances of getting that, and it's a big game. You got to win this game. I mean, it's a 3-8 Bears team that could be without Justin Fields. It could be Trevor Siemian playing. They don't got a ton of weapons. This should be a win, and I really expect this could be a game that's going to be. I could expect this being a 10, 13-point game. I really could. I think this could be a game for the New York Jets, as I predicted, 23-13. I think this could be a game. If Justin Fields plays, it would be a little closer because they'll make it interesting. Like I said, if Justin Fields plays, it's probably going to be more of a 10-point game. If Trevor Siemian plays, he's not very mobile. You're going to get a lot of pressure on him. Their receivers aren't great. Like that should then be. This should be a win. Like you're 6-point favorites for a reason. You're at home. You should expect better offensive production with Mike White at quarterback. Like, this is a game you got to win. Like, this is where we're at with the New York Jets, where it's like, no longer is this a game where it's like, the Jets are that 3-7 team or they're 4-7 and the Bears are 3-8 and it's a battle of two bad teams. No, the Jets are 6-4. They're looking for their 7th win. This is a playoff contender versus a team that's top 10 in the draft. Jets should win this game, and they're also at home. So, this is a win you got to have for the Jets. You can't lose this game going to Minnesota, going to Buffalo, losing 2 straight games that you easily could have won. So, big game for the Jets. Just win it, take care of business, move on from the sour taste that you had in your mouth after New England, and get the win, and then move on to the rest of the season. So, should be fun. As always, hope you enjoyed it. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Enjoy all the sports. I will see you all back here on Monday. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.